times. Just depends on how you treat them.
And mine is just called Mouthpiece.
Mouthpiece. Okay. Well, co-host or main host, we're here on the 4 o'clock shadow. So shall we begin? We have on Andy Smith and Dennis Turner, Astonishing Comics, I guess you could describe them. Yeah, it just cuts off quick. But anyway, well, it's kind of fortuitous that you just finished the DNA show, because that was going to be my first question for Dennis. Tell us a little bit about the DNA show, Dennis.
Well, the DNA show, it started this started way back before we started, even doing the collaboration on the books. We wanted to we got a lot of similar interests, and we were talking about like what kind of shows, what would we do, what would we like to, what would other people like to see, and we kind of kicked it around, and you could call it the Dennis and Andy show, or you could call it the Dennis Nerds Andy. I mean, it all kind of fits together, and it's really pop culture, just focusing on more of the areas that we both enjoy a lot. And we're both football fans, so we always talk football during it. So we decided, it started off as not a live stream, but it was just a podcast. Yep. And I remember one of our first guests was all the old books, comic books. They had the ads and stuff that were inside, back in the 60s and 70s. And there was a guy who wrote a book on it, and we contacted him, and he was one of our first guests to talk about all those wonderful things. And that's kind of how it transpired into the DNA show.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the show, Shadowhawk, my own co-host.
Hey, Rex, and hello, good to meet you, boys, Andy and Dennis.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, like Dennis said, we've been doing this since before COVID, because I remember when COVID came, and like every other state, it was, stay at home, blah, blah, blah. We had to... we weren't doing video yet. We were still just doing audio. So we figured out how we could try and do it, from his house and mine. Because usually for the DNA show, he comes over here. And then sometime in 21, I guess, I can't even remember, we transitioned to video. And we just, comic book news, movie reviews every week we do. Obviously we like to have guests on and stuff. And then when we don't, we'll just talk about some, entertainment news, pop culture stuff. And every Wednesday, 3:30 Eastern, live.
Just in our podcast, I was going back. I since you asked, I just kind of wanted to see there, Rex. And we've got 2,489 podcasts since we started. And that's just the streams, the podcasts, the stuff that we do, so
that's incredible.
That's actually a lot more than what I was originally going to say.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. That's incredible. That's all I can say. I guess I should say that's astonishing.
That's right.
Trademark.
Yeah, we're not quite at 2,000 yet, right, Rex? We're almost there.
We're coming up on 1,200. So we're
1,200. Oh, I thought we were closer than that. Wow.
Yeah, we're at 1195 today with these guys. So,
Oh, that's cool.
If we survive this one, we'll go on to do one.
Well, 96.
We got plans.
That's right.
We've been having some great guests on. Michael T. Gilbert, I was telling Andy Smith
Yeah.
and Mike Gustovich and just some, CG people and just all kinds of different things have been going on over there on this channel. We do it daily, 4:00 Central. So I hope we didn't cut your show. You run about 30 minutes on the DNA show, right?
No, we do an hour.
Do you do an
Yeah.
hour? Okay, so you cut yours in half for us. Well, thank you. Oh,
No,
okay.
we go 3:30 to 4:30, so we didn't cut anything.
Yeah,
Okay.
we
All right.
Remember, we're
we
Eastern.
our
So.
time because Graybeards comes on at 5, so
Yeah.
we decided just to work on it, and it really fits out better in our schedule because most of the time, with the exception of this month, I'm always over at Andy's studio, so I go hit the new comic book shop, grab all my new books, and then go over to Andy's and we do the show. Then we usually go out to eat that night, and then I come home and work. But yeah,
Andy, do you have a pull list? Do you go to the same local comic book store?
No, there's one a little closer to me I go to.
Okay.
Do I have a pull list? I don't have like a regular type thing I get.
Mhm.
I do look through. There's an app called League of Geeks. That's the name of it. And the store I go to is like registered with it. So like I can go through it every week, see everything that's coming out, and basically click it if I want it, and they'll pull it for me. So, but like
No,
this
that's pretty handy.
yeah. But this week, so disappointing. Nothing. I got nothing. I went.
Well, I mean, there's been a big shakeup. Of course, we've been knowing that distribution through Diamond, which when I had my comic shop when I was 17 years old with an older man that was oh gosh, he's probably about 10, 15 years older than I am. My senior. He's anyway, it was Capital Comics that
Right.
but
Yep.
basically from what I can see, Diamond didn't change things much from Capital, But now this big shakeup recently with Dynamite, they've done a lot of business through Diamond apparently, because what was it, 40 something million that was reported that they owed Dynamite, which I think is doing some most innovative kind of indie stuff out there. That's more kind of indie mainstream, kind of like Image is now. If or maybe Dark Horse.
Right.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what's going to happen there, guys? What do you think's going to happen there with that? Because that's been big news in comics.
You're talking about Dynamite and stuff?
Dynamite, and there's just the whole thing with Diamond and then how's
Diamond's pretty much.
How's that going to affect all of us?
Diamond's pretty much toast, and there's just other distributors that people are going through, like Lunar,
Penguin. Yeah.
Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Russert is starting one up, and he's got a lot of people already signed up for his.
But in his is going to focus really on the
Right.
smaller ones, and I think that's a great strategy because right now your Marvel and DC, they're always covered by the bigger ones, but I don't collect Marvel and DC anymore. I collect 99% of what I get is all independent stuff, and for me, they would always give me. I got the big previews book every month. And I would sit down and go through it, and I'd write down my new pull list, what to add, if something, what to remove, and I would go through it. And the one thing that Diamond did well was that previews catalog, and now it's much more difficult for me to go through and figure out what books. So
now you're talking the big thick one, not the small little preview book that came out of month. Yeah, the big thick one. Yeah, takes you a while to go.
Image, Marvel, and DC. Matter of fact, there's still the DC Connect that I get, and I still get the Marvel, and Image.
Yep.
They've got theirs, but honestly, I get Image books, but I will only get, and occasionally I will get something from Marvel, like I'm doing Death of the Silver Surfer right now. When I canceled a couple of years ago, when Marvel pissed me off beyond belief with the X-Men, that was my last straw. I walked in and just canceled all big two books, and everything I do now is crowdfunding, and I get all my little independent, the small publishers, and they've got some great stuff that's out there. So I've been very happy, very glad that I did that, because I'm spending $150 a week on comic books, and the Marvel and DC stuff was just so bad. Why give them an extra $100 that I don't need when I'd rather do the crowdfunding stuff?
Yeah. And, take a chance. I mean, you might latch on to something great, I know number one issues sell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
think.
What
I
is
get
your
stuff?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I get stuff more for the art, and obviously the story should be good.
Mhm.
But like, I think the latest thing that I know I'll get actually, I do get a couple monthlies. I get Transformers and G.I. Joe from Skybound because I like what they're doing. And I just started getting Battle Beast because I really like Ryan Otley's artwork. Robert Kirkman's writing it. So, having the Invincible guys back together.
Well, the only thing on my pull list has been Spawn, and that's because I saw something on X that Todd McFarlane came out with, and he was saying, we've only, we started out at $1.99. We increased. We've been at $2.99, in 20 years. And I was like, yeah, it's one of the cheapest books still out there. And then I think recently one issue, but my most recent ones that I've gotten have been, and I've been seeing that they've been doing Godzilla crossovers. I got this one recently because it's like a neat fight cover. But recently I saw that I knew they were doing Space Ghost, but they started Herculoids with Dynamite. But I've got to wonder about the future of anything Dynamite. Are they going to come out of this or what?
Right. See, I'm right there with you because I do Thundercats, Silverhawks. These are all 80s stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm right there with the Herculoids with you. Johnny Quest, Space Ghost. I just popped up the the Space.
And you were
Quest.
probably buying all that DC Future Quest stuff that was coming out.
I did, absolutely.
I got that. Yeah.
I thought that was pretty decent stuff. And then when I was at the shop today, we were talking, and it might be a little more than a rumor now. It looks like Dynamite might have landed Thundar the Barbarian to add to that.
Yes.
And if
I don't know if that's a rumor. I think that was announced.
I have not seen them. Nobody there said they saw it officially announced.
Okay.
And apparently they moved closer to doing it. So I will be very, very curious because a lot of the other ones is Transformers, the G.I. Joe, the Energon universe that Skybound Image is putting out. That's the best Transformers and stuff that I've seen since the original Marvel run, the early Marvel run stuff.
Did you pick up a few years ago? I don't know, about 6-7 years ago, the Tom Scully GoBot stuff.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. I looked through it. I did not. That's not one I collected, but for me, the GoBots, I had some GoBots, more Transformers back in the G1 days, but they were the poor man's Transformers. That's what we always called them.
Yeah, I barely remembered them, but it was the first thing that I saw Tom Scully do. And I counted 19 little less than a postage stamp panels. And he did the same thing with Fantastic Four and so many other books. It almost gets too much for my mind, though.
Yeah.
It's very hard read for me. But now at the time, I like the crude, almost like hand-colored marker look. I don't know, just it was different. I always look for different in comics. There's a lot of people doing the sameness out there, but I always look for something different. And I think that's what draws me to indies so much is they're not established. You have new characters. You're always wondering, well, what's this about? And, I always find it more inspirational. And I think all the momentum and energy is usually on the indie side of comics, has been. It just doesn't get enough credit. And maybe that's due to distribution, Well,
I'm sure, the store I go to actually gets a lot of indie stuff. So probably stuff would never have seen before.
Mhm.
And I think going back to Dynamite, I think I saw on their counter, Dennis, do you know, I think they actually have a catalog out now, kind of like Marvel and DC does. Or maybe that was something else I saw, because I saw something that was on the counter and it said Dynamite Universe, something like that. And it was about as thick, well, a little thinner because DC and Marvel put out more stuff, but it was, it was like right around that size. And I was just like, oh, I wonder if that's their catalog now, because they've got to do one, every company pretty much has to now.
When it comes to Dynamite, I kind of see them as, I know they're two different companies, and I can't even believe that ICW is still around with the debt that they announced they had years ago. They said we were over $60 million in debt. And I know that they've still got the Ninja Turtles properties, so that's got to be bringing in something. I think they were concentrating too much on the new Netflix deal. And, when they had a couple shows on there, Vampire Show and something else at the time, but it wasn't giving them back the residuals or being, getting another season, maybe one, not as much as they wanted to. And maybe they weren't paying as much attention to the printing side of things. Hopefully they've kind of turned that around. I don't know. I hadn't heard anything new on IDW for a while. But
I don't know. I mean,
I haven't seen much on them. I see somebody was asking about any revival of the Galaxy Trio. I have not heard. I mean,
I would like
bounced. Yeah. That would be cool. I have not seen that bounced around at all.
I love the Galaxy Trio. That'd be cool.
I mean, I can't believe that the Galaxy Trio with Meteor Man and Vapor Man and Galaxy Girl and things like that haven't been done before. I mean, they did them in a few comic books, Gold Key, I think, in the 70s, but that's it. And it's like, what's the hell? I guess it's licensing, but I can't believe that Hanna-Barbera has not gotten some kind of deal, even to release the 17 or 19 episodes of Fantastic Four. I guess it's, I've been told that they'll probably never see, physical media with that. Of course, it's out there anyway, but and I hate that they're censoring cartoons. Like, and sometimes it can be official releases. I bought the Johnny Quest on DVD out of Hanna-Barbera at Walmart. And then later I'm seeing advertised, or maybe it was even at Walmart, they had the Blu-ray later, or the DVD. No, it was Blu-ray. I think I bought it off eBay. The uncensored Johnny Quest, because they had censored some of the language out there, like when the lizard man's falling to his death or something, and Johnny Quest is smack talking him as he falls to his death. That's good. That's just,
what would they censor? It's not like he's cussing. He's probably just like, you're dying.
It's crazy. It's bad enough that Ted Kennedy changed animated history through the legislation that he put through with violence for kids. There was nothing on in the 60s that would make me a serial killer, or make me want to go throw somebody off a cliff and smack talk them,
right.
I mean, I think Johnny Quest is probably the greatest adventure cartoon of all time, just with traditional hand-drawn animation.
Yes,
it's amazing. And you actually got to see people killed.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Johnny Quest was great.
Blow things up. I mean, that's what kids want to see, right? And we want to hear Birdman or Maitor or Young Samson. Yeah. Do you remember Young Samson?
Oh, yeah.
Which was kind of like Johnny Quest, and he puts his bands together and becomes Samson and Goliath, the dog.
All that Hanna-Barbera stuff from back then was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There was oh, God, and I don't think it was Hanna-Barbera, but back, what was it, in the 50s, early 60s, there was a Hercules cartoon that was cool.
Yes.
He had the blue toga with the big thick belt that had the H on it.
Had the ring that would give him power. And if he lost his power, he would lose his strength somewhat,
Yeah.
I love that stuff. Had the little centaur sidekick. Yeah. In it. Yeah. I had to be reminded of that one. There's a few early ones that were actually produced before I was born that I would still see when I was very young like that. And I've just kind of forgotten through time. There was even Rocket Robin Hood. Go check that one out. That one's done on from Canada. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you guys enjoy the cartoons like I do, because I think it was kind of a golden age for cartoons in the 60s. And then there was the vast wasteland of just the Super Friends, and there was live action stuff, of course, like Isis and Shazam and other stuff, Jason and the Arcs, all kinds of stuff that Filmation did. And then, of course, all the toy stuff of the 80s. And you talked about some of that that's being finally made into comics, like Silverhawks and I even like I never, that I was like college age then. I didn't really get into at the time. He-Man was a little younger audience for me. Not that I didn't experience some of that at the time, but Thundercats. I've since got that on disc. I like it. It's okay, and I even like the remake. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I see Tim was talking about, Hanna-Barbera closed. They did close in 2001, but Time Warner Animation, they absorbed all of it. So they have the rights to all the Hanna-Barbera stuff. That's why we're seeing it dishing out. I'm just wondering why some of these other ones haven't pulled the trigger. Maybe they want the same amount of money for all of them and they're not all created equal. I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, I mean, kind of like Spider-Man's out with Sony, they'd like to bring it back and get it with X-Men, or if you license this stuff out, it could be hung up for a while. Now, Core Draft is closed out. Core Draft Volume 2, The Awakening, but you did 65,807 and 911 emergency. You had 911 backers.
Yeah.
So that's got to feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, fulfillment went well. That was a few months ago. And, it's just another one, just seeing it out there with, the first one, The Reckoning and stuff side by side, it was really cool. So
now this was kind of the birth of your new campaign here, right?
Yes, it was Lilith Infernal Conflict. Lilith, of course, was introduced in Core Draft The Reckoning, and she was teamed up with the Necronite and Vordoom to kind of go against Core Draft and Adriana. And we got a lot of good feedback on her from the two books. So we thought, instead of diving right into the next Core Draft, why don't we do a story focusing on Lilith and kind of like her origin story and such, so people can find out more about her.
We had a lot of feedback from people, and they were like, this is really cool stuff, but everybody seemed to be very intrigued by Lilith, and they were like, she's not a normal character from the world that's there, and they're right. And they're like, well, what's the deal with her? I mean, she's a succubus. Where does she come from? Why is she different? And everybody kind of wanted those questions. So we were able to very easily come up with a really cool story that shows her origins, and it'll still tie into the end of The Awakening and will lead right into the fourth book. But it's basically her origin and how she got brought into the Shattered Reach. And it'll answer everybody's questions, because she's a demon, and she comes from one of the 666 layers of the Abyss. And the Abyss is in an eternal conflict with the 9 layers of hell. It's endless. So you get to see some of that, and then what actually happens in the Abyss that created the urgency for her to actually go into the prime material plane known as the Shattered Reach.
And if I'm not mistaken, on the first Core Draft campaign, you were going to do a T-shirt, but didn't get enough orders. Is that right? Because
we did a T-shirt. No, we did the shirt.
We did 2. We did one for the first campaign, and then we did. This was the Lilith, so that was actually from it. We had the Core Draft. We call the heavy metal shirt, And then the last campaign we did the Adriana shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I see with their boot design and everything, it almost like has a witchblade, with all the metal,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
design
mean,
to it.
I guess I could kind of see that. I wasn't really thinking that when I designed her.
Right. Yeah.
I was just thinking kind of a sexy, succubus that has the wings and she has 3 fingers instead of 5, and
Mm-hmm.
she can shape shift and stuff. I didn't want to make her what she wears. I didn't want to make it symmetrical, so she's asymmetrical in design, except for the
Mm-hmm.
shoulder pads. That part's symmetrical, but yeah. So just tried to do something different with her, and she was one of the designs I did. That the first one I did, I was happy with, and then some of the other characters, took 1 or 2 different drawings to come up with the final design. But I had a good idea right out of the gate with her, so and then
43
drawing this
people
book was
watching
fun
right
because it's
now,
in a different
guys. So
world.
talk about your channels and kind of what you cover besides the DNA show.
Well, I mean, on my YouTube channel,
Mhm.
the technical name of mine, I think, is Drawing Dynamic. Well, it's Andy Smith Art, but if you go to the page and look at the header, it's like Drawing Dynamic Comics, because that's the name of the how-to book I wrote that came out in 2000. So I'm trying to focus on that channel, on
Mhm.
time-lapse drawing videos, going through different books that I own, so people can get a sense of an entire book, whether it's a how to draw a book or an art book, focus on one artist. Every now and then I'll do a comic, and I'll just go through it page by page. So, and then, put a link in the description where it can be bought. And I like doing that because so many people buy stuff online these days. And like myself, this is where I got the idea. I was like, man, that book looks cool. Say you're looking at Amazon, and some of them, they give you like a 5 or 6 page preview. And then some, they don't give you a preview at all.
Mhm.
And I really hate not being able to look through an entire book before I buy it to see if it's something I really want. So I see it as my way of giving back to the people, because Dennis will tell you I'm a very charitable type person, and I love giving back. So that is my way where I can pull a book off my shelf and go through it, and then the audience can go, that is cool. I've seen every page of this book and I do want to buy it. That man is doing a service no other is. And I'm like, you're welcome. And then I'll do videos on drawing techniques and stuff like that. I'm trying to do 3 of those a month, because those take longer, and they're not live. They're pre-recorded, and then I upload those, and it's all on how to draw specific things, or maybe tips or tricks or something.
Yeah.
So,
and talking about like maybe the stuff that you use, right? Your ink or
yeah.
paper, different things
Yep.
like that, technical things, so that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what drew me in on YouTube was, Ethan's drawing streams. I know, a lot of people were drawn in by that were interested in comics, and they're like, oh, wow, here's a guy that's talking about how to make comics. I don't
Yeah.
how he popped up. I don't know, but he popped up, and that's just kind of what got me interested, to see original art, and I think he just come out of DC, so he's still just doing some DC characters, drawing them, and it was always kind of interesting. I already had some of his stuff in my collection, but didn't realize it. Dennis, we'll talk about your channel here in a second, real quick, but what's your holy grail, Andy?
For
In your
what?
collection?
Like comic?
Yeah, comic.
Whew.
I know, right?
So when you say Holy Grail,
well,
is
the place is on fire, and you got time to grab one.
Oh,
What are
okay.
you
So
going to take?
no, that's what I was going to ask. So it's a book that I already own. Okay. Well, no, because I've heard some people ask that from the standpoint of a book you don't have that you want. But you're talking about one I already own.
You already own, yeah.
God, can I say 2?
Sure.
because I can carry two, one in each
Okay.
arm.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I've got a CGC slab copy of Green Lantern, Green Arrow 76, the first Neil Adams issue. That's a 7.0.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would take that. And then I have, I'm going to stick with two because I said two, but I just realized that there's a third one.
Okay.
I'm going to actually have to go with my Wiz Comics. I think it's 22. It's the one cover that has Captain Marvel, Shazam, but Captain Marvel back then,
the original Captain
standing
Marvel,
with his arm around Billy Batson. It's only cover where they both appear together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's only a 4.0, but that's a pretty good grade considering I think there's less than 7 of those graded in the wild, and I own one.
Yeah.
I think Aaron owns one, and then another friend of mine actually has, I think he has 3 of them. He has a 2.0, a 4.5, and I think a 6. So I would probably grab those two. Yeah.
What was the third one you were thinking about?
So the third one, I believe I always get the number kind of wrong. I think it's Flash Comics, and this is Golden Age Flash. I think it's either 72 or 76.
Wow.
It's got a Joe Kubert cover when Joe was like 19 or 20, because it came out in 1946. It's Hawkman, and it's one of my favorite covers that Joe did from that time period, because he did 6 or 7 issues of Hawkman in Flash Comics because it was an anthology book back then.
Right.
And
most of them were.
Right. And they would alternate every month. It would be a Flash cover, Hawkman cover, Flash cover. So it's this Hawkman cover Joe did. I believe it's number 76. And I always loved the cover. And then just the story on the inside that Joe did too. For his age, like 19 years old, it's really nice. And the cool thing is, I think it's an issue of All-Star Squadron, reprinted it as a backup.
Yeah.
And one of their issues, I have that
Loved
one on
All-Star Squadron. And Carrie says, Andy, if you're married, your wife could grab a couple on the way
I'm married. We've got a 22-year-old kid.
Yeah.
They can grab a couple. We just got a brand new kitten over the weekend. Sure, she's only 2 pounds. I could strap probably one book to her back, and I think she could make it out. She's full of energy. So yeah, I could probably get a few more out there.
That's why I call Andy the taxi man, because he used to have to go and take his
used to. I still do.
You still do? Okay.
I got to get up at 1:20 tonight at 1:20 to take my daughter to work because she works at 2 a.m.
Has it been sweltering hot there, guys?
Last week it was 100.
Yeah.
This week has been in the mid 70s, but it's been basically Seattle rain. Wow. And we're not in Seattle, but you think we were because it's been gray skies and rain all week.
Yeah, we've got more rain this year. This is an unusual year. Dennis, about your YouTube channel.
Yeah, my YouTube channel. So I do a number of different things because I'm an all-around nerd. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, science fiction, but I love all fantasy and stuff. Besides the comic book stuffs, I do quick flips on all the books that I get each week so people can take a look. I get some pretty good views on those. We always talk TV, movies. I deal with some role-playing game stuff, so I've got RPGs. Book and records. I actually collect the book and records back from when we were kids in the in the 70s, and I actually get them in good shape. I try and find them with a good record that plays through, and then I'll sit down and record the entire book and record. So $6 Million Man, G.I. Joe, Frankenstein. I got a bunch of them, so I've got book and record playthroughs on there. But we also do, comic calls on stuff that, we do a lot of conventions. So I do stuff on tabletop role-playing games. And we do our movie reviews. Andy and we go see one of the new movies in the theater every week. and we wind up putting that up, on there. So we saw Fantastic Four, we saw
Did you?
Superman.
Oh, yeah.
We saw The Naked Gun last week, and we're seeing Weapons tomorrow night.
I
Yep.
always said that they should have went to the 60s retro. If they'll stick with the original material and riff on that, we as fans would probably respond to that. That when they have not done that, and I think Fantastic Four and Hulk, finally they might have had enough to get Hulk right. But those, I think them redoing those movies shows you that they didn't get the numbers that they were expecting compared to some of the other Marvel movies. I was never satisfied with the Hulk, with what they were trying to do, or the Fantastic Four. And maybe I'm just picky, but
I mean, I didn't
just
actually mind the first two Fantastic Fours from the early 2000s. Oh, that's the book he'd grab.
Yep, that's my holy grail.
But Dennis, you told me that's not even at your house. So why would you grab it? Are you lying?
No, but he asked about a book that I would grab.
If your house was on fire.
Well, all right. Well, in that case, I would grab my entire box of my first box of X-Men. I mean,
you can't carry that.
We literally
can't carry that.
I'll tell you, we went through 3 floods in 2 years when I lived in Illinois for 5 years. And my wife was pissed, but when the water was coming up to the front door, I didn't grab the kids. I didn't grab my TVs. I grabbed my X-Men comics, and they went up to the top floor first. And she goes, "Are you serious? You're going to grab those comics?" I'm like, yeah. And I, like, every single time the flood came, I went and moved all those boxes upstairs.
Dennis told her, he goes, "Look, woman, those kids know how to swim. We got them swim lessons.
That's right.
Comics can't swim."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that was Gold Label. So who signed that? Stan Lee?
Yeah, it was Stan Lee. That was my holy grail. I got X-Men #1. I've got all the X-Men up until 2 years ago. So all X Factor, X-Force, New Mutants, all that stuff. But I was missing 5 issues, and then I worked backwards. I got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And the week
Dennis,
I got
you
my
think you're
#1.
special, but there are some super collectors out there, and you are special, by the way. Andy told me you were
He's very special.
Right. You are very special.
I know.
Okay, that's how he put it. I'm just saying.
I know what Andy thinks. Yeah. So
short but special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay. You got me
so I didn't buy it signed. I actually bought a 9.0 slabbed of it. And I bought a really nice copy. And the guys from CBCS came and hit me up that day, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's a great book. But we didn't do that." And I'm like, no, it wasn't you guys. He goes, "I know you want Stanley's signature." I'm like, "You guys know me." And he goes, "You're in MegaCon next weekend. Stan Lee is doing a private signing with us. Let's do it."
Yes.
So I actually cracked my 9.0 open in order to get Stan to sign it. Came back in 8.5. Some people were pissed at me. I'm like, I don't care. I'm never selling it.
Yeah. And
he's willing it to me when he passes away. I'm already in the will. I'm that one exception. When that fateful day comes and the lawyer calls and tells his wife and kids to come to the office of the reading of the will, they're going to see me sitting there and be like, "What the hell?" And when he gets and Dennis bequeaths X-Men #1 to Andy, his best friend, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, they'll probably pass out, but I'll be like, "See you at the barbecue after the funeral," as I walk out with it in my dirty little hands.
I wanted to tell this story about Key Comics. A friend of mine, he's had some health issues, and he was a big X-Men fan too. Most of his X-Men, over 500 issues, 1 through 500, right? He had in mostly 9.8 graded slab.
Wow.
With his business, his comic business that he'd had for like 40 something years, he's about my age, a little bit younger actually, and I'll be 60 this year. That's incredible. Even some of those early issues he had in the highest grade he could find, He was early on the Valiant stuff. He had most of that in 9.8.
Oh,
So
yeah.
even if you got 9.8 and you think you got something special in Valiant, it's been done, folks. Because this guy had boxes. He had boxes and boxes of stuff. He was one of those that I don't know, for some reason he thought Valiant was going to be, and I still think some of the pre-Unity stuff is going to be key, and worth a little bit, and they didn't
Yeah.
publish a ton of those. Like I think Harbinger had a print run of like 50,000.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, it was incredible. So he had to sell that, and he's still got it.
Oh.
He's one of those that went into comics and had stuff that, it's just incredible. Production artwork, original artwork, some stuff that he was afraid to let anybody else know that he had, because they'd be going, "Where'd you get that?" He was really paranoid about Neil Adams for a while, but that's another story. I want to go back to your comic book collecting, because now, Dennis, do you do like all the conventions with Andy, or just part of them, or what?
Yeah, no, I do all of them. Before I teamed up with Andy, I used to help out a local comic shop. So I would do 26, 28, sometimes 30 conventions a year, but that was slinging books.
Yeah.
And I'm also a comic book appraiser. So, I mean, I do that. And, but yeah, when I started writing for Andy and we started collaborating on this stuff, he and I just go to all the conventions. My collecting is going way, way, way down. I've collected almost everything I need to. I've got a very nice size collection. I've got enough to read for the rest of my life. So I'm pretty good. So there's not a lot out there that I really need for old stuff anymore.
Now, Dennis, I don't believe you said that, because comics is like, you could have a PhD in comics, and I'm not impressed, because as much as you think you know about comics, there's still more to learn. Right.
Oh,
we
no,
all know that.
It is always, that is learning. That's a whole different thing. Knowledge.
Yeah.
You find out stuff every day, stuff that you have no idea what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's incredible. You can start at age 1 and go to 100 in the age and still be learning. It's when it comes to comic books, there's a lot to learn. Let's just put it that way. I just couldn't believe that out of your mouth, though, that I've got just about everything I ever want, because there's so many comics out there.
Well, there is.
Your needs must be small.
Here,
well, he has a huge collection, so like he has every issue of the Defenders. He's got. I mean, I think he still wants to work on Iron Man, so he still gets those.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of stuff.
Dennis, who's your favorite Iron Man artist? Gil Kane?
Oh, no,
Gil didn't do interiors.
I like Bob Layton.
You like Bob Layton? Okay,
kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
This is an old picture. I'm sharing it with you because it's much bigger than that now. But it goes a lot deeper than that. But you can kind of see that goes quite a bit further. I've got now 5 stacked high, and I'm gone as far as I can. I'm literally out of room.
I remember when you were converting this over, because you weren't always like these drawer units.
I've been with the drawer units since I lived in Illinois, so that's been 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I've switched. These moved with me when we moved from Illinois here. I started moving over to them, I think, when I lived in Texas. And then I really went full blown in Illinois. And then, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's what you have over there, Andy, isn't it? To your right, to your left?
Yep.
I guess it's to your left. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I've got them.
And are those like short boxes?
I saw Dennis's. I saw Dennis's, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea, because I used to have them. I've got 5 up and 5 across, so just 25, a pittance compared to what Dennis has.
And how far do those come out? Is it like a short box, or is it a whole long box?
No, it's a long box.
Okay. Those
They
can
make
get
short,
heavy.
they make short boxes too. I've
Yeah.
got 3 short boxes stacked that are next to that black bookshelf, and then to the right of that, as you're looking at my screen, that's the first row of the 5 and 5. But yeah, I mean, compared to like when I used to just have them stacked, and I was like, oh, I bet that book I'm looking for is in that bottom box. I was like, yeah, I don't need to look at that bad, because I'd have to take every freaking box down to get to it.
Yeah.
So now you just pull them out, and it's like, boom, there it is. I can't post links, but I think it's just, is it drawerbox.com?
Yeah,
Dennis?
if you look at drawerbox.com, he's out of Colorado. I actually met him finally. There are companies out there that put out facsimile versions of them, and they're cheap, and they're not the same quality. These are 300-pound corrugated. I feel like an ad for the guy. But they've
Good
got
product.
locking mechanisms on top. So all these boxes here, let me show you this.
Oh yeah, go to the website. Are you going to the website or no?
No.
Oh.
But
That would be helpful.
I'll kind of show there. So like on these, I've got these 4 stacked high, and you can see where they are. I've got all mine labeled, so they're alphanumeric. But
Right.
these are lockbox. So I actually have connectors that they provide with you. They're extra. They're only like under $2, I think, a
Yeah,
set.
they're cheap.
And they lock the 2 boxes together. So all the entire top row is locked together. And they're drawer boxes, so you can physically pull the drawer out, leave it hang unlike a long box, and you can sit there and go through them all. So as you catalog them and go through, but that's why the lock boxes are very ingenious, because that shares all the weight on the top, so you can pull the drawers out, and the extra weight flattens everything out. It's like a flattened curve of a weight ratio, so you can pull the drawer out and just work on your comic books, and then just push it back in and go to the next one. So, it's a fantastic system that he's got. He engineered it himself, and yeah, great stuff.
It is not drawerbox.com. Oh, here it is. Hold on. I think I found it. Oh, I found it. So it's not. I lied.
Do you
nice.
collect Golden Age, Dennis, yourself? Any Golden Age, or do you not?
No, I've got some stuff. I mean, I'm an X-Men guy first and foremost, but there are a lot of things that I've got. I got some old books with like Frazetta. Yeah, but I don't collect Golden Age as one of my backdrops. Nice.
Now, how many slab books you guys got?
I've got, I don't have nearly as many as Dennis. I probably have 20, 25.
Yeah, I don't do a lot with a slab. I mean, I probably got a few boxes of them, and then I've got a stand. It's a wooden display thing that holds a dozen of them that I always have displayed, and I swap them out. I will give a shout out, because it's the first time I've ever owned a 10.0.
Yeah.
And
wow.
I was saying I wanted a 10.0, and the only ones I can ever find are like no-name ones. So we were at a show with Graham up in Jersey, and that guy got some 10.0s from his. So I'm like, if I want to own a 10.0, I want to sign Graham Nolan, Chuck Dixon 10.0. Look at that. I am happy. So that's normally on display over there. I took out one of my X-Men books to display this one, because it's the only 10.0 that I've got, but I'm pretty happy. I mean, it's a 10. Not a lot of people can say that they own a 10.
Yeah,
true.
I've never owned a 10. I did a book that came from Key Comics, so it went back and forth. It's got a big story, but it's one of Robert Crumb's Undergrounds from 1968. We finally sent it in, and it came back a 9.9.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that was hand stapled. It was old school. It's amazing that it came back like that. It was Snatch number 2.
Yeah,
That is
that's
awesome.
That
Who
is.
do you guys like to go with? I like to go with CBCS.
Well,
CBCS.
we use
Yeah.
CBCS
Yeah.
because a friend of ours works with them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but a lot of the slabs that I have, I bought that way. I did
Yeah.
get,
Yeah.
a few years ago, I got 5 or 6 of, books I own, not my own stuff, but, back issues slab just because I saw what some of them were going for.
Mm-hmm.
And, like one is the first appearance of the Vision, right? So I sent it in to get it slabbed and it came back at 8.0. And I was like, damn, I didn't know it was in that nice a shape.
Yeah.
And then I got, the first Wolverine from the first miniseries. It was I still have the original 4 I bought as a kid. I sent number 1 in, that came back at like a 9 something.
Frank Miller's
So
run on it in the
yeah,
early
yeah.
80s. Yeah.
So I sent a few things in, but most of the stuff I get now slabbed, it's already slabbed. But if I do get something done, it's CBCS.
Now, I pose this question to about everybody that crowdfunds. Okay. With crowdfunding, it's a little different than what the books we've been talking about, like Marvel and DC, because they were on a monthly basis, bi-monthly, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
quarterly. Every now and then they do quarterly. And then, of
Mm-hmm.
course, you'd have the annuals and stuff. In the good old days, you'd have the little digest and treasury editions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now with us in crowdfunding, you really have to, from story point, you really have to think about the cliffhanger at the end, right? How you end it. If it's to
Mm-hmm.
be to kind of carry over, how do you kind of approach that? Because you've done a
Well,
monthly,
we
you know what
try
it's like.
for Core Draft, and even when I was doing First Man, we just try to do a one and done story.
Mm-hmm.
But there's obviously going to be smaller subplots that will carry through. But the
Right.
overall plot for that certain book, we want to wrap up at the end because we know the next one's not going to come out for probably 9 months to a year. So just like, the latest Mission Impossible, the one before that wrapped up that part of the story, but it still had the subplot going through for the last one that just came out, back in June or May, whenever the final one came out was. So that's how we try to do it. Because the last thing I think somebody wants if they're doing a book that they know is, basically a 9 months to a year apart is a to be continued, you know.
Yeah.
So
And were you happy with how Core Draft 2 did? Did it do better than 1?
no, it was a little bit less, but um there was just some factors on it that I think played
Mm-hmm.
into why, and one of them was I kind of screwed up with Indiegogo after the first 30 days, and I accidentally forgot to continue for another 30 days, so it went in demand, and so then it changed from funding to in demand, and there is a psychological thing behind that when people see funding or in demand.
Yeah.
So that
And
was on me.
and you get less money when a book goes in demand. You want it to actually be an active campaign. I mean, not that
Right.
it's not active in demand, but yeah,
It's just different. So
it's
that
different.
was a total mistake on my part that we're not going to make again.
What have you
So if
guys
we
learned
do, then
from
it's Dennis's
crowdfunding
fault
besides
too.
that? What have you
What's
guys
that?
learned from crowdfunding? I mean, one of
Yeah.
the most, if people are thinking about doing a crowdfunder, what have you learned that's been extremely helpful for you, you think?
Pre-promotion, you can't just
Mm-hmm.
say,
Build
you
up.
can't just say, you know what, I want to do a crowdfunder. I've got
Mm-hmm.
all the necessary art done for it. I'm going to set the campaign up and launch it without getting the word out there first for
Mm-hmm.
depending. Like if you're brand new and like nobody knows your name and stuff, I'd say anywhere from 6 months to a year, you want to start getting your name out there and talking about it and stuff. So then when you launch it, you have an audience built up.
Yeah.
There's exceptions to everything. If you have a name from being in the business for a while, like I did and stuff, you could shorten that window, but I would still say give it a good 3-4 months just to, talk about it and stuff, once again, just to get the word out and kind of build excitement for it and stuff. And then, when the campaign launches, it's almost like a full-time job because you just need to get out there and promote it like we're doing with you. And,
Right.
Other channels will be going on and stuff in the next few weeks as well. So,
Well, I mean, when it comes to that, you're right. You kind of have to build up, and even if you have a name, I would say I didn't even realize that you had launched this new campaign. To tell you the truth, I mean, I know you advertise it, but that's one thing that I learned. I go in the chat and they go, "Hey," and this is when I did the ash can, the Devil Flyer ash can. They were like, "Go sign up for Devil Flyer," and I had like a 2-month sign up. It was like quick. And on this last one, on the Devil Flyer #1, if you will, it's like a prequel. It was even shorter than that. But we got great response. I think we had over 100 signups in like 2 days, 3
oh, that's
days.
cool.
It didn't take long at all. And I was
Yeah.
really getting the word out though. I worked for Mattel for a couple of days. You got to work it no matter who you are. And,
oh yeah.
but
It's
I
a
would go
job.
into the chat and they would say, "Go sign up for it." And I said, "No, it's already in demand." They go, "Oh, well, go back it." And you think you're out there, and like I can't just take for granted I'm on here every day doing something that people know it, but it may
Right.
help, but it's not the be on end all. When you go to, I think it helps immensely to go on different channels like this.
Mm-hmm.
We got 70 people watching. We haven't had 70 people ever. I don't think, and I've had some big,
like a record.
yeah, I think so. Yeah. And as soon as I said that, it goes down to 69. They're monkeying with the numbers, I tell you.
Damn it.
Damn it. I know. Now, Andy, you're just on your profile, you've been a professional artist for more than 3 decades, working on such titles as Silver Surfer, X-Men, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Batman, Superman, Earth 2, which was not too long ago, Earth 2, at least to me, and Demigod for Ominous Press, which I'm kind of aware of that, I believe. And you're drawing dynamic comics, which I do have probably a first issue of that, is currently on its 7th printing, drawing American manga superheroes. I didn't know you did that. Both published by Watson and Gulpfield.
Yep.
I hope I said that right.
Yep. Well, they're Random House now, so I should probably change it. But that's who originally published it. But then Random House bought them. So
I'm aware of your drawing book, but what about drawing American manga superheroes?
Yeah, I mean that one came out in 2007, I think, and yeah, I mean it didn't do as well as the first one, and I think part of it was because it kind of just sat and took a while for them to get it out, so that hype or for that type of art style was more popular in the late 90s and stuff. If you look at like Joe Madureira, Art Adams, Humberto Ramos, Mike Rowingo, Ed McGuinness, those guys. And so when it finally came out, there were other books out there already kind of like that. So is what it is. So,
and when did your drawing book first appear?
The first one came out in 2000, 25 years ago.
Now that's okay. I may have got it way back then. And so you've updated and then added new material since, or just reissued it?
No, I just got the publishing rights back to it a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I keep thinking about doing that, updating it. It's 144 pages. So I keep thinking about adding some pages to it to make it around 200, like maybe around 196 and such. But I just haven't had a chance to really dig into it yet. But it is something I've been thinking about and kind of want to do now that I have the publishing rights back to it.
Well, the guys, we're at the hour mark. Give us that 30-minute, 30, not 30
30
minutes,
minutes. Okay.
30 seconds spiel for this great book.
I'll just read the whole thing to you. No,
And you
it's
would, too.
Lilith, and she's going back to the abyss. That is her home on the
Mhm.
123rd layer, and she is a fierce operative, a general, if you will, of her queen. And she's tasked with the mission to infiltrate the layer of the abyss, the 124th layer, to assassinate the leader of that layer, the demon lord Vixarion. He's a tyrant, and he is bent on enslaving all of her kind. And she needs to outmatch him with her cunning, her wits, her razor sharp talons, along with her succubi army that will face off against his army. She needs to take him down. And of course, he has a general in his own right who wields the blade of the dread, and his general is Sarathar. And it's a high stake mission, if you will. A mission if you choose to accept it. Is it impossible? No. Well, she needs to take him down, destroy his power, or die trying. So that is
Dennis,
what
anything to add to that
it's
spiel?
about.
Yeah, so if any of your viewers have read the first two core drafts, there was a lot of world building in the Shattered Reach. Well, this is now taking away from the Shattered Reach and going, I guess I would say, up to the heavens, but it's more down to the hells.
Yeah.
Because it's now world building on part of the same universe, but now we're dealing with the abyss and hell and what it's like there. And it's very informative. It's a great story. And it's really going to flesh out a lot of the world building for that aspect of this fantastic IP that Andy and I have created.
I know you had gaming stuff on at least the first core draft, maybe both.
Both.
This almost screams for it, kind of like Dante's Inferno, with this other region that you're talking about. Do you think that'll ever come about?
That's a whole separate thing. I've had other people ask. I have literally been gone the last 2 months. I have hardly been at home. Therefore, I haven't had a chance to finish a gaming thing. Plus, for gaming, it's different. For writing the book, Andy and I collaborate. We talk all the time. We go through bounce ideas. This, I have to have a completed campaign module set up, and then I have to send it out to the players. Players have to play test everything, send all their feedback, and then I go through another round. So
yeah,
I will be doing something along this lines. It'll probably be in the next book, but there was just no physical way for me to be able to get it done in time for this campaign launch.
But we are offering a 2-inch and 5-inch Lilith minifigure, kind of like we did with the core draft minifigures. So you can still pick that up. If you get the box, the 2-inch figure comes in the box. If you don't, you can just add on either size when you check out. And then if it's for role playing, you would want to get, the 2-inch one.
And these are probably gray for where you can paint them, right?
Oh, yes. Of course. Yeah. Somebody painted the core draft one, Chris Thacker, and he did a wonderful job. So, and other fans have painted them too.
I want to ask you next convention you go to, but before that, Dennis, real quick, would you make a comment in the chat so that I can wrench your butt so that you can come in here and drop your links whenever you need to or have a new campaign like this? And we are going to chop it up. We're going to watch the trailer real quick. Only on Choppy Ass Theater. Here we go. Let me get it back up here. Here we go.
Yeah.
Will you be going to any other platforms, or are you standing on Indiegogo?
I mean, we'll stick with Indiegogo for now. It's always something that we might consider down the road, but it just launched. So right now we're just focused on Indiegogo.
Happy the way it's going so far?
Yeah.
Good. Here we go.
Always happy because, it's the backers that are helping us do it. So
absolutely.
Oh, no sound.
It's visually stunning, Dennis. We don't need that heavy metal music. There's no voiceover. I can do it from the depths of the abyss. A new warlord rises.
There you go. You're your own announcer.
Lilness Squad fights the demon threat. No, I don't. Her
That's gonna leave a
brutality
mark.
knows no bounds. Hell wages war. The abyss answers. Ooh, lick that blood. Oh, I added that. Deception is her weapon. It is.
See how his photo goes over your name, Dennis?
Hey, there's only a few things I do on purpose. Okay, that was one of them, but stop it.
Yeah, I've already had people say, why is that mug at the end of that awesome trailer? I'm like, I don't know. I'll call it technical difficulties.
Oh,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. He's covering for you, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're a great team. You're on weekly with the DNA show. You got other draw streams, individual channels. Go check out all the links that are down in the description. Talk about just real quickly here, AndySmithArt.com.
AndySmithArt.com. That has more of basically it's my overall website that people can go to. It's got, sections for Marvel Comics, DC Comics, other publishers, advertising work I've done that's not in comics, but is obviously in comic book style because that's what I get hired for. It's got First Man stuff because there's a store at that website too, so you can get First Man stuff, Astonishing Comics t-shirt, hat, different things like that. And it's just my overall site. And then Dennis just posted coredraft.com, which is everything core draft related. And you can get the previous couple books there. Get yourself a nice frosty mug if you want. A couple blankets we have designed. So
we have slab books. We have a lot of things that, figures. But yeah, go check out coredraft.com. And if you missed the first two, and you're interested in it, go there and pick them up. They are right there for you.
Yeah.
So no need for catch-up tier on the current campaign.
Nope.
The next convention you're going to go to, Andy, do you know? Do you know?
Yeah, well, the next one is just it's a local show called Charlotte Comic-Con. It's actually August 17th, and that's here in Concord, which is north of Charlotte. So we'll be going there. And then after that, we're going to Greenville, South Carolina for South Carolina Comic-Con Junior. It's their one-day show they do in the fall, and that is October 5th.
Okay. When you do one of these shows, do you get paid? For your autograph, or do you like?
Oh yeah, I do commissions. Obviously, I do sketches at cons. I do charge a little bit for signing books and stuff, and then of course, meeting the fans and everything is just awesome. So yeah, and then we sell books and all that stuff. Paul Taylor, hello.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm very cognizant of your time. Thank you. We could talk comics forever, I know, because it's an endless sphere of interest to all of us. I'm sorry Shadowhawk had some technical issues. He sent you a message.
Next time.
It happens.
Yep, next
time. Hopefully you'll host us over there on your show.
Yeah.
We'd love to come talk comics with you and show you some rarities. Like, I don't know if you saw this. Maybe I should do this. Anyway, it's, I think Andy's seen it. It's
is that
color separation. Yeah.
Color separations. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Fantastic. Avengers #4, rather. First Silver Age appearance by Captain America. Yeah.
That's awesome.
On that. So anyway.
We'll try and figure something out in the next few weeks, because I know next couple weeks we have guests, but we'll try and figure something out in the next few weeks and just have a nice comic book talk show. Talk about the oddities and the rare things, because that is really cool what you showed there. So
yeah, I've got some other stuff. I had to dig it up, but slab books and stuff.
Yeah, that's always a fun show, just sitting there talking about that stuff.
I own like maybe a short box or more of slab books myself, but and I bought them. I've even got some, of the older, thicker CGC books.
Oh yeah.
Really, if you have any of those, that's kind of a slice of comic book history, but you really need to have those things cracked open because they use that micro paper in there that after a while can damage your books after 8 years, they say. So if you've got some older CGC books like that, or from some of these other companies, you need to check and see, is the preservation of them, initial preservation of them, damaging your books? There's a topic to talk about.
I'll have to look. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to look, see what the oldest one I have is.
They've actually stopped using the micro paper a while back, and they've got like maybe 3, one in the middle, like one underneath the cover, and then the back cover, I think. So I've been told. So I've got a few that I need to get cracked and that stuff removed and not re-slabbed. But it is kind of a, because they used to make those slabs real thick, as compared to today. That kind of streamlined it. That's one reason I like the CBCS. I just think the clarity, and of course, comics are meant to be read. If I didn't say that,
right.
For Shadow,
unless you're Aaron Lopresti.
Unless you're Aaron Lopresti, and that guy likes 9.8s. Don't think he doesn't.
Oh, he does.
He does, but it's 9.2 is like bare minimum. If it's not a 9.2, don't even talk to him.
That's right.
Yeah. And there's some that actually, some of those early books that you can get pressed. I've got a Hall of Heroes, first appearance of Salamandroid on the cover. I would love to get pressed because it's graded an 8.0 CGC. But if I press that thing, I'm sure it would go higher because it was never pressed. You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you? You'll get a higher grade. But you always run the risk, right?
Well, I was just going to say, I know a couple people that got their books pressed, and it was a very bad press. And they accidentally put in a permanent crease in it, and instead of gaining a half a point, you lost several points.
And if you ever do those polybag books, always get them pressed before you may not see that invisible line where they actually scored and the heated blade came down. But I guarantee you, if it's polybag, like your X Factor #1 or something, get it pressed, folks. But responsibly. That's a horror story. You're gonna have to tell me more about that, Dennis. But anyway, we're gonna get out of here. These guys got other things to do. Hope you liked the Fantastic Four movie. Did you?
I gave it what'd I give it? I think I gave it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Well, I gave it a 7.5. I think you were in the ballpark.
Yeah.
I gave it the same as I gave Superman. I thought they were both. I had problems with both of them, but both were also enjoyable.
Yeah. Did the cast kind of take you out of Fantastic Four? Was that a problem?
No, not really. I mean, they did better than I thought. So
it didn't add to it. At least Superman added to it. I really liked his portrayal of both Clark and Superman, whereas the Fantastic Four didn't detract, but it didn't really add anything either. Although I will say Johnny was fantastic. He was much better than I thought he was going to be. And is who I thought was going to ruin it, and Pedro didn't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard for me to envision a Reed Richards with a mustache, but I mean, unless
I know,
earlier, I mean, when he's haggard and been in, he's got a beard and mustache. I almost wish they would have presented him like that, like he was, but maybe he's went to the school of Cesar Romero, never shaved the stash. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to the long goodbye. Yes, indeed, Elmer.
All right.
Anyway, thanks, guys, for coming on, especially after your own show. Enjoyed it. Please come back.
You got it. Absolutely. All right, man. We'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot.